Hi, I'm Jessica Thomas, Director of Patient Education at the Neuroendocrine Tumor Research Foundation, also known as NETRF. It's time for our Thrivership Series, and today we're going to focus on caregivers. Are you a caregiver, or do you have a caregiver? This can be tricky sometimes because with cancer, you may have someone who literally is providing care for you, or you may not. You may have just people in your life that care about you, that love you, that are an ear to listen, or someone to go with you to a doctor's appointment. In my mind, a caregiver is very broad. It can be someone who provides literal care to you, but it can also be those people in the background. The people are maybe care partners and the people that care about us. So this Thrivership series is for them. One of the best ways to care for another person or to care about another person is to already be in care of yourself. If you're whole yourself, then helping another person is a lot more easy. But I know it's a lot more complicated than that. We're going to talk a little bit about compassion fatigue because caring for someone is one of the most selfless acts, but it can also deplete you. I'd like to define compassion fatigue, which is the emotional and physical exhaustion from sustained caregiving and empathetic engagement. And it's normal that you might feel worn down sometimes. And that doesn't mean that you failed. It means that you've cared deeply. It's important to recognize, understand, and manage the level of compassion fatigue that you have. And that will help you to help others in a much stronger way. So, what are some of the warning signs when empathy, love, and care starts to hurt? So, common emotional signs would be irritability, guilt, numbness, sadness. You may have physical signs such as chronic fatigue, body pain, insomnia, headaches. There may be social signs, loss of joy, overfunctioning, feelings of resentment. You may think something like, I should be stronger, when in truth, you've been strong far too long. With neuroendocrine cancer, long-term uncertainty is difficult, and there's a lot of it in this disease. Cycles of stability, treatment changes, and a lot of watching and waiting. There can be a feeling of emotional exhaustion from always being on alert. And many times, care partners can feel invisible because friends and family, people on the outside, may not see your outgoing stress because the person living with cancer may look well. I've learned from my experience that not one person lives with disease. You may have disease, but the people that love and care about you bear certain things from the illness as well. I think it becomes a family disease to some extent. When we're looking at burnout, burnout's the exhaustion that's caused by workload or systems like going to appointments, paperwork, logistics, etc. But compassion fatigue is the emotional depletion caused by caring deeply for someone suffering. Burnout equals to doing too much, where compassion fatigue equals to feeling too much. Compassion fatigue recovery needs reconnection and reflection, not just rest. So, how do you refill your cup? You deserve the same gentleness that you show others. I want to talk about the 4R framework. And I like the R as a letter because of resilience. So we'll say that these 4Rs help you to become more resilient. The first R is to recognize your own needs before a crisis hits. The second R is to reframe. Reframing self-care as preservation, not indulgence. It's a necessity. And then reaching out, finding peer support or professional support is a sign of strength. And then the last four is restore. Restoring joy daily, those small little things that give you joy. Maybe it's art, music, movement, prayer, laughter, connection. I'd like for you to think, what is something that restores you, not just distracts you? Now, distractions can be very helpful for us, but also knowing what restores us can be equally as helpful and possibly even more helpful. There are a lot of caregiver resources for neuroendocrine cancer caregivers and care partners. There's also some general caregiver resources and information that's available to you. But also scheduling regular check-ins with friends and who can listen to you, or maybe a counselor, someone who can listen without fixing or listen without judging. And there's a lot of peer-led support groups in the general cancer community. I'll share some here in this Thrivership series. So what are some tools and strategies? How you can help yourself? The first one is building a support network, because even the caregiver or the care partner, the person who cares, needs care too. And connecting with other people like you, there's nothing better that beats that. So join a caregiver support group, either neuroendocrine cancer specific or not. There might be one in your local cancer community, etc. Schedule a regular check-in with friends, people that can listen without fixing and like to connect. And even having parts of your life that you talk about that has nothing to do with cancer. And making use of peer-led support groups. I'll share some in this segment. Creating small rest rituals to take care of yourself. Having 10-minute daily pauses for breathing, stretching, journaling, practicing gratitude, or just checking in with yourself. Set times for no cancer talk zones. Those are so important to have areas of your life that cancer doesn't touch. And then strengthening your boundaries. Practicing saying things like, I can help with that tomorrow. Use shared calendars or group text messages to delegate updates if you're someone who's delegating communication. And protect your self-care, like your sleep, your rest, your nutrition, your movement. Or go to a counselor, a therapist, someone who's trained in caregiver fatigue. And you can ask your local cancer center about caregiver mental health resources. And there's other practical tools that I'm going to share in the next slide. But remember, the best way to care for someone is to stay whole yourself. For this Thrivership series, I hope that you, as a caregiver, show yourself some care and love and keep thriving. We'll see you next month.